Hi, I'm Chris Maragakis of Simply Be Retreats and Therapies. I'm a life coach, therapist and podcaster. Welcome to Mindful Mutterings. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So this week I'm going to talk about the question that I am asked the most, and that is, how do I change my mindset? And I think firstly we need to understand what the term mindset actually means. Generally it's recognised to be a set of assumptions, beliefs or behaviours that shape how we see the world. So when we're talking about a mindset shift or changing a mindset, we're actually talking about recognising and addressing the assumptions, beliefs and behaviours that are not making us happy or helping us to live a calm and content life. And really to change your mindset, you're going to need to do the following. So the first thing we have to do is take responsibility. So we've grown up, generally speaking, seeing our environment and ourselves as separate entities in which things happen to us. And we're kind of like a helpless participant that just gets thrown around on the journey of life. And we've brought up to believe that another person can make us happy or sad, or that having something, a possession or an achievement, will make us feel successful, or that maybe having children will make us feel complete. And unfortunately this is not so. The only person that can make you feel any of those things is you. There are no such thing as good and bad experiences. It's the way that we interpret them through the conditioning and experiences that we've had, and it's that leads us to assign a good or bad value to them. And what might be good for me might be horrific for someone else, and we can only understand the event as it happens to us and through our perception of life. And this is the same thing when we're dealing with people. You know, generally speaking, people are not stressing us out or making us angry or jealous, and they're not doing it on purpose. They're just being themselves, and they're just trying to do the best that they can with the skills and the attitudes that they have. But it's our belief of how they should behave towards us that causes the pain. So basically, to change your mindset, you firstly need to take responsibility for it. Secondly, you need to become aware of what you're thinking and the assumptions that you're making and the way that you're then reacting to people and situations. And this is, of course, known as mindfulness or present moment awareness or living in the moment. And when you do become aware, then you're no longer operating on autopilot and just responding to your triggers. And triggers are anything that make us remember a past experience, so smells, music, phrases, etc. And instead then, from this point of awareness, you can begin to question what you're thinking and feeling and where these ideas come from. You know, are they yours? Are they part of your conditioning? Do they actually work for you anymore? And then you can choose how you respond, and you can then make an effort to be kind and compassionate in the way that you deal with people and you deal with situations. And this all sounds like a very time-consuming process, but actually, of course, the brain does it with lightning speed. And that is why most of the time we just react, because the brain has processed so many variables and come up with a strategy that it thinks will work for us and then gets us to do it. And because we're not aware of our thought processes, we just blindly stumble through life doing what the brain tells us. It's when we have this awareness that we can then start to question whether it's actually serving our purpose to behave in this way. Thirdly, we need to work out what we're hoping to achieve from our life or job or the present situation, so that we can identify what we're currently doing that's not supporting this. For example, if it was important to you to be a confident and empowered woman, but actually you really believe that women or that men are more powerful and men should be listened to, and you're contradicting yourself, that what you're saying is that you believe or you want to be a confident, empowered woman, but you actually believe that women should be subservient in some way, then this would be a limiting belief that we could address, because until that belief is addressed, you're unlikely to be a confident, empowered woman. And that applies to everything that we begin to identify. We can then look at ways that we can support ourselves to make that change to the belief that we have. And also, if it's something that we can't necessarily work on at the moment because there's other surrounding issues, then we can look at ways that we can support ourselves in our life to minimize the impact that limiting belief has. Number four, you can start to look for the positives in life. We are living in a deficit culture, and what that means is that we are constantly told that what we don't have, or when we don't have what we think we should have, that we need to do something about it. That we should be always striving to have more, to be more, and this can leave us feeling unfulfilled. And so really, the marketing department of just about every company in the world would have you believe that if you had the lovely shiny new thing that they're selling, then this would make you happy and complete. And so instead of looking for what you do have and being pleased for it, you're constantly conditioned to look for what you don't have and look for a solution to that. And usually that involves buying something. And so you can only see that. And then when you're looking at the things you don't have, then it has all this associated beliefs and assumptions that go with it that just kind of clog you up. So, and through the law of attraction, what you focus on, you attract. So what you're actually doing is welcoming more negativity into your life, more opportunities to see what you don't have into your life. And so you're actually welcoming more unpleasantness and more stress and more feelings of underachieving or not quite being enough. And this can result in depression or anxiety or lack of confidence and despondency. But when you start to focus on positivity, and when you look for the things that you do have in life and you start to be grateful for them, and you realize that actually every day that you get through is a success, and that you are amazing and you do have enough, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, as long as you're not attaching your sense of self-worth to achieving these things. But when you start to be positive, you start to raise your own vibration. And this obviously is where our body is happiest. The higher the vibration we have, the better the energy flows around our system and the healthier we remain. We're not only doing that, it helps us to become more resilient, because we are better placed to problem solve, and we can step back from a situation and see it with clarity, and then we can find a way to navigate the situation. And so what this then does is teaches us that firstly, nothing stays the same. Secondly, that everything will pass. And thirdly, that we will survive. We have coping strategies and techniques that we can use. And while it may not necessarily be pleasant, we know that we will get through this, the same as we've got through everything else, because by keeping positive and by looking for solutions and being proactive, we're managing our stress. Excuse me, we're managing our stress, and that is helping us to think clearly, articulate well, and problem solve the situations that we're in. And this then helps us to shift our mindset hugely, because instead of feeling that maybe we're not quite adequate or that things don't go well for us, then actually we can start to see that when we're looking positively, our mindset is taking us towards an empowered view. Best way to do this is to start looking at things that happen, and instead of always having this idea that everything always happens to me, why does things always work out this way? Why is it always happening to me? Why don't things ever go right? If we can kind of switch that to what can I learn from this situation? I'm grateful for this opportunity to grow. Then we move from the victim mindset to a proactive, empowered mindset. And then that has far-reaching effect throughout the rest of our life and the relationships that we have. And so the way to do this, my point number 5, is to start with small, consistent changes to your routines. Now, scientists who've done so much work around the brain and neuroplasticity and the psychology of mindset have said that generally it takes between 21 and 42 days, so it's 3 to 6 weeks, to change a mindset. That's why you'll find that lots of programs are 3 weeks long, or that coaching generally is a 6-week program. And the thoughts or the actions that we're trying to overwrite the other ones with need to be repeated daily for that change to take effect. And so it's about being consistent. It's about being clear on what it is that we want to change, the mindset or the belief that is no longer serving us, and being very clear on the language and the ideas around the new belief that we want to introduce to the brain. Because when the brain is forming its neural pathways, it does that through use, through repeated action. And all we have to do to change that mindset is to form a stronger neural pathway with a new, more positive belief. And that sounds very simple, but it's just a case of keeping focused on that belief and reiterating it every day until we become aware that that is how our mindset has changed, that this is the belief that we now have, and that is our default action. And so to do that, it's really the tools that you can use which are really useful are affirmations. So starting each day with the affirmation of the belief that you want, or maybe having a mantra that reinforces that you can use at regular periods during the day. Maybe set an alarm on your phone to remind you just to check in with the thoughts that you're having. Just literally 2 seconds. What am I thinking? Am I positive or negative? Are these thoughts moving me towards my end goal? What is my self-talk like? Am I doing myself down? Because when we have negative self-talk, or when we talk about ourselves negatively out loud, what we're actually doing is giving other people permission to do the same. And obviously that then reinforces any negative mindsets that we have. So it's about checking in to make sure that our self-talk is positive, that our ideas are in line with what it is we want to change, and that we are working towards our target every day. You can also use gratitude, being grateful for so many things in our life. But even if you're just focusing on a mindset, being grateful for the opportunity to change your mindset, being grateful for the awareness that you have that this mindset needs to be changed. You can use meditation. Vision boards are a really good visual way of keeping you focused and on track for the changes that you want to make. Obviously, there's coaching. If you'd like to discuss that, please get in touch. Or you can use books and podcasts. Anything that is working towards you, reinforcing this new belief that you want to introduce into your life is all good. And the key to success is starting small so that you can achieve it, and so that you can see the progress you're making, because obviously that then boosts your confidence for when we need to start working on bigger mindset changes. And the key is to start. Everything seems a little bit overwhelming, but when the more you break everything down into small manageable steps, the more achievable it is. And as long as you start, then you're on the right journey. And I think it was Einstein that said that the definition of madness was to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. And yet that's what we're doing every day if we're living on autopilot. That's what we're not doing if we're not present moment aware or mindful of the way that that our beliefs and our assumptions are impacting on our daily lives. And so it's about bringing these 5 points that I mentioned. It's about taking responsibility for our mindset. It's about having a clear idea of what we're thinking and what we want from life. It's about being aware of our emotions. It's about looking for positives. And it's about starting with small, consistent changes. And by doing all of these, then we can really start to shift our mindset. And as we shift our mindset, we'll be able to see the benefits of this in every single area of our life. Because as we said at the beginning, it's our mindset that is the assumptions, beliefs, and behaviors that we employ. And as we shift our mindset, obviously all of those change too, and you'll be able to see an improvement in your relationships and a reduction in your stress, and you'll be able to see how life flows easier and simpler for you. So I hope you found that useful. If you'd like to know more, then please get in touch. You can contact me via my website, simplybe.org.uk. Or if you'd like to have a chat about starting your coaching journey with me, then please get in touch either through the website, same web address, or you can send me a text or WhatsApp or whatever. I'm 07974 618499. Whatever you do, whatever you choose to do, make the start today. Take your first step. So thanks very much for joining me. Hopefully you'll join me next week for the next one. Take care. Bye.